He speaks to them who know the law, meaning those Jewish Christians in Rome who were under the law as spiritually dead men before getting born again. He likens the law to the law of marriage. No matter how bad your husband is, you can't divorce him. Who is the husband here? It is the spiritually dead sin nature of the Jewish person under the law. The law has dominion over this death nature. The law says stop doing this, and yet because of this death nature that the Jew, and by extension everyone, was married to, they could not stop. Bam, the law says guilty, condemned, sinner. Okay, let's try again. The law says stop doing this, but the Jew is married to a death nature and can't stop. Boom, guilty, condemned, sinner. But enter Jesus Christ, who fulfilled the law and then died in your place, thus destroying your old man through accepting the gospel, freeing you from the law of marriage to marry the new man, and now produce the fruit of righteousness. Now what the law condemns you for doing, you're not stuck doing. Now you can stop sinning. Romans 7 is the point of view of a spiritually dead Jew under the law. He says, for when we were in the flesh, meaning before getting born again, he says the passions of sin were roiled up through the law that said stop doing them. The more the law says stop lusting, the more I lusted. But look what he says, but now I am delivered from the law because the old me that the law had dominion over and exposed my inability to stop sinning is dead. So now I, the new me, can obey it by nature from my heart and don't need it written in stone anymore. So was the law sin? God forbid. I would not even had known my lust for sin was a problem until the law said don't do it. Thus the law is good and holy and only exposed my sin nature. Before the law came, I was fine with my lusting because I had no idea it was wrong. But as soon as I was given the law, it ruined me because I became constantly aware of my sin nature. So the law is towards life, but I by my sin nature was towards death. But that is not me now because I am born again. So the law was given to expose the sin nature in the Jewish people, to prove that every man was sold unto sin by Adam at the fall in the garden. Notice Paul did not prove his point with thou shalt not commit adultery, because even before the Mosaic law, they knew adultery was wrong. Even Pharaoh was mad and scared when he found out Sarah was Abraham's wife. Look, a sinner can go his whole life without committing the physical act of adultery. So Paul used the 10th commandment because it never dawned on anyone that the very thought of lust for sin means that very sin, proving they cannot keep the law of Moses because by the time you had the thought, you were guilty. It was impossible to resist because by the time you tried to, you had already committed the sin of lust. So the guy screams, what a wretched man I am, because he wants to with all of his heart obey God, but has found out he can't. But the good news is for the Jew who loved God and wanted to serve him was that he could offer another animal on the altar to hold his faith in the Redeemer that would one day come.